Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Trammell. It's time for We Pick 'em. We've got a big game to pick, a Thursday night game. Oklahoma State hosting Texas Tech. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first, I'll tell you, we are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online to papajohns.com, find one of their deals. It's a great football season meal. Barry, let's start our We Pick 'em, though, with some NFL action. New Orleans comes to Dallas. It's the Sunday primetime game, 7:30 start. Who you got in this one?
Well, it's an interesting game. Cowboys have actually played pretty well. They're 2-1. New Orleans comes back with Rob Ryan, who was dispatched as the Cowboy defensive coordinator. So it's an interesting matchup, but I got to go with the Saints. Dallas, I salute the job Jason Garrett's done through 3 games, but that Dallas defense can't stand up to the Saint offense. Dallas has beaten Tennessee, St. Louis, not offensive powerhouses. Austin Davis, Jake Locker. We're not talking about Drew Brees here, and now we are. So I think Drew Brees lights up the Dallas defense.
Yeah, I'm going with New Orleans in this one as well because of that New Orleans offense. I definitely think that that's going to be a big-time challenge for the Dallas defense. And now we're starting to hear of sort of fissures in the Dallas defense. Maurice Claiborne getting benched. He erupts, leaves practice, so some dissent now on the Dallas defense, which already was having its own struggles with just quality play. So that can't be a good sign either, Barry. I got to think New Orleans goes in there and gets some big-time points on the board. All right, let's go to the college game. Hey, here's another Thursday night game, but not the Thursday night game. This is the late one. UCLA goes to Arizona State. It's a top 15 matchup. 9 o'clock start on Thursday. Maybe as people are driving home from that OSU game or once the OSU game's over, click over. But who you got in this one?
Well, with total apologies to our old friend Vinegar Ben Mizell, a noted ASU alum, I'm taking the Bruins because I think the Sun Devils are a farce. Arizona State is a top 15 team. I don't see it at all. I think Arizona State would finish 8th if they join the SEC West.
Wow.
So I think UCLA wins. It's on the road, but the Bruins haven't been overly impressive, but I think they beat the Sun Devils.
Well, I'm not sure I think UCLA is much above a farce, so I'm going to go with Arizona State in this one. I think being at home gives them a slight advantage. As of this taping, Brett Hundley, the UCLA quarterback's status is a little bit up in the air, saying he may play. If he does, that's probably a bit of a boost to UCLA, but he's still, from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like he's maybe in tip-top shape. So because Arizona State's going to be at home Thursday night, you assume the crowd's going to be pretty excited and pumped for that. I'll give them a slight advantage, and I don't give any apologies to our old friend Gina Mizell. I'm picking the Sun Devils. All right, what about this game Saturday afternoon, Barry? It's down in Arlington, one of those neutral site specials. Texas A&M against Arkansas, 2:30 kick. Who you got in this one?
I am taking the Razorbacks in the upset.
Whoa!
I'm a big believer in Brett Bielema. I thought it was a good hire. I know he doesn't fit the SEC mold personality-wise, but I tell you, I think he's an offensive-minded coach who knows how to run the ball. I think he can get it done. At Arkansas, we saw that the Razorbacks shredded the Texas Tech defense. Texas A&M's defense is a step up from that, but I still think the Razorbacks figure out a way to run the ball enough to beat Kenny Hill and the Aggies.
I'm going to go with A&M in this one, and I do think it's a bit of a challenge for both these defenses. How are they going to handle the offenses on the field? A&M's defense, I just don't think it's good enough to get them through that rugged SEC schedule. But I think it's enough against Arkansas. But man, this could be, I don't know what score I picked in this game, Barry, but it probably isn't enough points. I think it could be in the 40s or 50s, these great SEC defenses that are out there on the field. All right, speaking of the SEC, what about the Saturday night SEC game? Missouri goes to South Carolina after that loss last week to Indiana. Any hope for the Tigers?
Oh, I think there's hope. In fact, I think I'll pick the team from Columbia to win this game. Oh, wait, that doesn't really narrow it down, does it? So when Missouri plays Auburn, I'll take the Tigers. So when you get so bloated as a conference that you've got teams with the same nickname and teams from the same city name, you got too many teams.
They even had quarterbacks and coaches named the same
They had two James Franklins in the league last year. Here's the deal. South Carolina, I'm going to take the Gamecocks. They looked poor against A&M. I think what we've learned is that said more about A&M than it did South Carolina. The Gamecocks have come back with 2 excellent wins. East Carolina is the best mid-major out there. Gamecocks beat them. South Carolina also beat Georgia. I think they'll get the Tigers. Missouri seems to be in a little bit of a transition.
Yeah, I'm going South Carolina in this one as well. I still think Matty Mock, the Missouri quarterback, is a really good player. We saw him up close and personal last year in the Cotton Bowl. Missouri used him sparingly against Oklahoma State. I thought they should have used him more, but I think he is talented. I think he can cause some havoc. Maybe not quite to the level of a Kenny Hill at Texas A&M or his predecessor, Johnny Manziel, but I still think he'll cause a little bit of a headache for South Carolina. These SEC defenses just don't quite seem ready to handle the spread like they do in the Big 12, although you handle it, I guess, by, you get beat every once in a while. But I think South Carolina wins at home. I think that's a Gamecock victory on Saturday night. All right, Barry, what about the big Thursday night game around here? Texas Tech comes to Oklahoma State. Who are you taking in this Big 12 opener?
Well, I'm going to take the Cowboys, and I'll probably take them big. This series has changed so much. Do you remember back through most of the 2000s, we knew what would happen in Texas Tech OSU.
Nail-biter city.
In Stillwater,
Yeah.
Cowboys go Lubbock, get their head lopped off, come to Stillwater, and it went right down to the wire. That's changed. Now OSU just clubs them wherever they're at. Beat them 66-6 in 2011. Beat them 52-34, and it wasn't that close last season. 59-21 in Stillwater 2 years ago. These programs have just created a mighty gulf between themselves. Cowboys have really risen. Tech has really fallen. I think OSU wins big.
Yeah, I'm going OSU in this one as well. I do think OSU has created a bit of a separation. Well, maybe not a bit, a humongous separation between it and Tech. I think that OSU's defense is going to be tested in a way that's probably even different than they were tested by Florida State. I'm not saying Tech's offense is better. It's just different. More up-tempo, more pace. They'll be trying to get as many plays off as they can, and that's a challenge for a defense that is still growing and evolving, so that's going to be a challenge. But, I know that Mike Yurcich, the OSU offensive coordinator, said earlier in the week that they can't suddenly become Arkansas and run it up the gut like the Hogs did against Texas Tech a week or so ago. You don't have to run it up the middle. Just bounce Tyreek Hill out around the outside because it doesn't look like Tech has people to chase down really fast running backs. Give that a try a couple times, Mike. See how that works. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.